Hey guys, Sam back with you here. We're midday Tuesday, March 27th. And as I mentioned, as we put it up to vote today, all the majors were the markets that the members requested. So we're doing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. I shouldn't say all the majors, but 3 of the majors. So here's Ethereum to the dollar. This is the 8-hour on Bitstamp. Now this is how I'm viewing it here. I've got us in a large WXY, looking for the completion here of this ABC, and we look like we're coming down here at 5. Now this is right out of the room here, so you can see our trade that is down here looking for a front run on the algo target here. So we've got an 8.64 to 1. This is pretty much what I always do. So I'm always looking for low risk, high reward entries. So always a very tight stop because we try and trade with precision. So there's no reason to be taking, let this thing, maybe we're going down here. I don't do it, right? So I just don't do it. So if I get right back to where we were, all right, so there's just no reason to take that much risk, especially when you're down here trying to pick a pivot low. So very tight stop on this. We're looking for the precision, which is this confluence zone that's established down here where we've got the negative 23.6 and the 100%, the length of the 1 projected from our 4. It's not unlike what I just showed in Bitcoin. So we have this, and then in conjunction with that, we have the potential for the median line. You can see how it was tabbed right here. It's just, perfect stab of the median line here at the middle. We got the bounce for the 3, and then it looks like one more time. So a return to the median line would not surprise me. It looks like we may be heading that direction. So this is our buy zone. We can look down in our oscillators here. Well, we're getting, we're now in the, we're under 30 here on the RSI. So some potential here, a little bit of divergence relative to the 3rd. We can see it shaping up there. Now we are on an 8-hour. So we'll dig in a little bit more, but that's the premise behind it. And why do I have this as our target? Well, all I'm doing, let me take this off here. All I'm doing is just working from this pivot high here on the assumption that if we are going to put in a low here down at this target, well, then you can see it's just a move to the 50. Right, so giving us that, well, now here's as I've tightened it, it's about 9 to 1 in terms of the risk reward. Doesn't mean it couldn't go higher than that, but that's the first place we'll anticipate getting some pretty meaningful resistance if we're going to pivot down here and start to move away impulsively. That's a lot of ifs, but that's a reasonable scenario and target for us. So that's up around, what is my target there? 817. So let's dig in. Excuse me, I'll take that off. We're down to a 1 hour and see if we can dial in here a little bit more closely. So again, no surprise here. It's very similar to what we're seeing in Bitcoin. So here's our potential 4th here. So as I look at this, I see it as a 1, 2. Well, this is potentially our 3, 4. Can we get there? Well, so all you can do is measure it. That's all you can do and look for those probabilities. That's really the tool set that's available to us. So if I look at this and I think, okay, well, if that's my 1 and that's my 2, well, here, that doesn't quite make 100. So I might have to do this. All right, so it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's my 1. There's my 2. So potentially now, best case here, this would be our 3, although we can't, we can't project that we're finished here though yet. Listen, let me raise the degree here so you can kind of see what I'm after. So if I come up here, all right, so potentially 1, 2. I know I've got a big target down here. Here's my 1618175 box. Right here. Right here's my 100%, the length of the 1 that I was showing you on the 8-hour. So I've got this pretty nice confluence zone established down here. So here's 100%. So it looks like within this 3rd, and we don't know that we're done yet. So if I now go to a smaller degree, let me go to white here. So it would appear that I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, trying to put in a 5 here. We don't know if we're done yet here. So potentially now I've got 5 legs within this 3rd, which is just what I want to see. I don't know where the low is yet, but I'm looking for it somewhere nearby because of the 3, 4 that I've got. So same thing. So if I open this up and I do the same sort of targeting and I say, okay, if that's my 1, length of my 1 projected from my 4, Well, I've already gone through 100. That caught the 3. Here's the 1618, 175. That's certainly a contender, the 1618. That would be an extreme, relatively extreme. Length of the 1 projected from the 4 to get to 1618. That's definitely a target right there as a potential pivot for the 3rd. Right, this looks like we may be finishing in some sort of a diagonal scenario. Given this chop, is there one more push down? That would not be surprising. That would give us 5 waves to complete our 3rd down here in a good target zone. Setting up the 4-5, right? So you can see relative to the larger degree that we were playing into, that's, you know, it's a contender. I'd probably take that up a degree there. So that's okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. So this degree needs to be higher. So let's take that up. That's why it's that's the benefit of changing color here. So you can, well, that'll work. So you don't lose track of what's what. So let's go to the green there on that one. Okay. So now we can see. So 3, 4. Here's the potential 5 down here to line up with here. What we're looking for is our 5th. So if I measure that, so this being my 2 here in blue, this is what I'm trying to get as a 4, 5. So I'll put the wave on that just to help clarify what we're after here. So here's our potential 2, right? 1, 2, trying to put in the low on the 3rd. And within that, we can see we've got 5 setting up. Now, I'm hypothetical here. I don't know that I'm going to pivot there, but this is the idea. Once we get a pivot down here, where, you know, if it were to be here, you can see that would be right to the 50, and that would give us a scenario that fits into the larger degree roadmap that we're trying to create, and that would give us our C wave down here and potentially the larger low that we're after here, given this potential 5-wave structure that's unfolding here as we move off of this pivot here. So 1, 2, 3, eventually we're going to get a pivot down here. We look for the retracement off of that in 3 and then rolls over one more time, potentially giving us that target. So if we take it back out, so I'll go to the 4-hour and see if that makes sense relative to where we are. So I got to scrunch a little bit. You start to piece all of this together. All right, could this be a contender? Does that fit in here? Well, we've got the median line here at play, as I showed you previously. So the larger degree here, here's our 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for that 5 down here. We've got a lot of confluence down here at this zone to support that. But, you know, we're back down at 400. You know, what was our all-time high? I got to really... So what do we get up here to 1,400? That's a hell of a correction in Ethereum. I mean, a hell of a correction. So are we near a bottom? I'm inclined, I'm long-term bullish, as I think all of us are, long-term bullish of Ethereum. So I'm looking for that opportunity to get a reasonable entry here. This has been a long, painful sell-off here. I remember when I first showed this count, people were... Woo, the hate was serious on on YouTube. People thinking there's no way that's happening, and you know, again, I'm as bullish as anyone. Yet you can't. I mean, when there's the count staring you in the face, it was, you know, if I pull this off here, I mean, this is hard to argue with, right? There, I mean, there's. So if I look here, so let me pull that right. Do you see that here? So you see that algo target right there? So lining up all, so you get this huge confluence zone down here. So we have the largest algo pull right here. So swing high to low, right to the 618 to the tick. And that algo target has been sitting there. When was that? That was February 17th, over a month. Sitting down here. If I wiggle it, well, let's see, I've got it. As you saw it, right? So it's right here in green. So that algo target is sitting on top of the other algo target, which is sitting on top of the 100%, which is sitting on top of the algo target from the proposed wave 3, 4, 5. So we've got a huge confluence zone down here at 400, right? But this, when I showed that as a roadmap at 978, people thought I was crazy. It's not opinion. It's just where's the algo retracement? Where's the target? Right? That wasn't a genius analysis. That was literally just looking at, well, where's the algo target going to be? How could we get there? Boom, there it is. Right? So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to draw some algo polls, and when you look at that target, you think, oh, no way, no way. Yet here it is, right here, as we come down approaching it, right? And they've been short the whole way, So is one other poll we can consider right here is this one here from this 2, right? So if this in this degree here in green that I just did, so if this is our 2. Right, so we've got a lower degree here, candidate here. So I know that's a lot of stuff on there. So here's my 4. So let me pull some of this off here. So my 2 to my 3. So you can, I know it's hard to see. Here's the 23 to the 38 right here, right in between those two. Here's the 23, here's the 38 of this 2 to this 3. We go right in between, right where you'd anticipate the 4. And we've got a larger, so if I wiggle this one here, you see that green one down here, that's at 347. The largest one up above is at, we'll call it 400. So between call it for round numbers, 350 and 400, we have a lot of confluence suggesting that there's an opportunity to be a buyer here in Ethereum to the dollar. Well, we got to see. So one thing that will help as we get clarity on this as to how deep we could be going is if and when we get our pivot down here for our potential 3rd low to finish this, right? So in white here, so we're looking for that to finish. So if I put the wave on that, you get the idea I'm after here. Okay, so the steep on the 4, are we coming down here to finish this? Right, so we can get a 1, 2, 3, 4. We finish the 3 here, anticipate the retracement here for the 4th, and then one more push down into this huge cluster, this huge confluence zone that we have down here beginning at around 402. All right, well, I'll call it 410. So really from 410 to 350, that's a huge buy zone down here where I will start buying right here. If we get down here, I want to see what happens here, but I will start here, initial entry zone. So whenever the market's coming down like that, you don't need to be a hero. That's not a place to load the boat, but that's a reasonable first buy, knowing that there's potential for this to drop maybe another $50. So that's what I'm watching for. Next key pivot for us is the next low here, and we nothing says we must get it, but it's certainly teed up to be there for another low. We look for the retrace and then one more push down to give us our final low. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. All right, just a quick reminder here for those of you that follow along on YouTube that we do have a secondary channel set up now. So the only difference between the two is the same name. So one is TradeDevil, that's singular, the one that you're on right now, which is just cryptocurrency, and then TradeDevils, plural, where we're looking at traditional assets. So we're looking at individual equities, futures, and Forex markets there as well. Exact same methodology, exactly the same, which is kind of the point and why I wanted to do that channel, so that you see that the underlying asset does not matter. This is how the markets move. This is what I would propose to you is the most reasonable way to approach it, with the kind of risk management and trading rule set that will keep you out of trouble and keep you in position for the good risk-reward ratios. And that's the best we get as traders. All right, that will wrap it here for Ethereum. One more to do today. We're going to be back with Litecoin in just a bit. Okay, guys.